What is up, guys? I'm back here. We're gonna continue the Madden A through Z series, but I want to show you guys something in practice that I really like and goes to what I like talking about when it comes to using the tools that you have um, at your disposal. So right here, I was trying to see like, okay, what runs do I know work? So I went through um, basically, as you can see, I'll show you here. I always go based off like what the first thing I see first. I'm going in order from which sets formations they give me first. So the first set is basically goal line, but for the most part we know how that works. So but I'll show you that too. So we'll go in pistol, and I looked at which runs work. Jet pass, fake zone. That is, um, as you can see, it's basically like a touch pass where you're handing it off to the wide receiver. It's not a fake. It's a jet pass, fake zone, which is actually handing it off to the running back with the fake jet motion. And then you have stretch here, and you can basically use like if you're going to whether you're going to pick um, stretch first or like whatever audible you have in that formation. Depending on the formation set, I do like to have at least two runs, but I know that I can audible out like if I'm in a regular gun, like if it's just regular inside zone runs, then I know that I can audible to other formations that have them if I'm in shotgun or something. Or at a pistol, you can audible to an under center, like single back inside run play. So if you don't happen to have, let's say you didn't have any run audibles, you could do that. But I'll show you an example here with full house base, obviously. So I don't have audible set right now, but I'll show you what would happen if I did. So like let's say you're somebody who just wants to mostly run the ball, right? Well, you can set most of your audibles for running the ball, and then you could just pick like the times that you are going to pass. Maybe you have one pass audible, or you just every play you don't go no huddle. You just call a pass play, but you know you're gonna have like all four run audibles, or you would have the ability to have two pass plays and three run audibles. For example, if you went with a pass play out of a formation and you had three run audibles but one pass audible, you would essentially have two pass plays and three run audibles because you would have five plays from picking um, one play and then having four audibles. So you would have two pass plays that you could go into, and let's say you audibled out of your original pass play. Most of the time, like 9 times out of 10, I believe you're able to like reset your audibles or whatever the case is and go back to your uh, original play that would have been a pass. So, for example, right here, I only have two run audibles here. So let's do this, and then since we only have two here, we'll go with obviously the two passes out of this. Now let's see how many runs we got. So we only have a total of 6 plays because I did want some full house base, but I wanted a lot of other sets or formations in my custom playbook, so I was limited at certain sets and how many plays I could have. I deleted certain like past concepts or plays that I normally don't use. So let's say we go with something like I haven't checked out running back double ISO yet. Obviously, it's like having it's an ISO, but it's a double ISO. So it's literally what it says. You're having basically isolation blocking, whether it's to help shore up the interior D lineman or to do that and get to the second level, or sometimes you'll be facing a soft front and you'll have both of them going up to the second level for like probably a ridiculous gain. So let's put that. And I'll just show you like what would happen if, let's say, you face the prevent, right? For the most part, people might still think you're running the ball out of here, but it is pretty good when it comes to play action and stuff like that. So if you mix it up, they won't know what's coming. But as you can see right here, if you want like a good end of the half play, especially end of the half, players will start to play quarters three deep, even when you have maybe like 30, 40 seconds and no timeouts. So you could tell yourself, okay, I could create a list of plays where it would be like Hail Mary, literally like only time for one play, and then maybe like situation at the end of the half when you have no timeouts or one timeout with also like 30, 40 seconds left. Because even I would play quarters three deep. Really, it's it's kind of dumb to play quarters three deep with 30, 40 seconds left because a lot of players are looking for quick hitting routes to get yards after the catch. And you can give up like a slant, a dagger route, a post, like, drag, a wheel route. Like, they look for free releases because when you're playing quarters three deep, if you're playing backed off, you're going to give that up. And if you're playing man and pressing with quarters three deep, then you're going to be giving up. You're still going to be giving up certain receivers to have separation and get yards after the catch, but also to get over the top of them or get big yardage like comebacks, certain routes to beat, you know, like basically how you would beat cover two, just with an extra safety in the middle of the field. So the reason why I say this goes well with knowing how many tools you have in your, box or whatever. Here we can see, like, let's say they went with a quarters three, right? First of all, we got Dylan, so we can't really make the guy miss. But let's say your opponent comes out with this for whatever reason, right? Let's say, let's see, what plays can you So if you had, let's say, single back deuce close, this is another thing, right? You could probably go in the single back deuce close because we saw there that from full house base, pistol full house base, you were able to audible the single back deuce close or whatever. So let's say we go to single. Let's see if they have single back deuce close, whatever play. Let's see if we can audible. Let's say we're picking that, right? We have a good play for the end of the half with single back deuce close. Let's say this was a good play. I'd say it's a decent play, because you can get out of bounds, you could get yards after the catch, depending where you're going. If they're using one of those safeties, you can maybe get over the top of Watson. You could probably get a 50-50 throw there. But let's see, can we audible out of this and go to a pistol, full pistol? So we're able to go to pistol deuce. So we're not able to go to pistol full house base. But if we were able to, you could imagine that. Okay, let's see.
Hawk 70, Hawk 70.
Makes no sense to me that you would be able to audible from pistol full house base to single back deuce if you couldn't do the opposite. So let's see from here. So you can also see like, hey, shotgun you off trips. We got that post wheel shallow. We have a PAY screen. I wouldn't suggest doing that because for the most part, it's the Y screen is a tight end, so you're not really gonna get much yards, and sometimes you get dropped in the backfield. It's just it's a slower player that you're getting the ball to. It can work out if you're like outside field goal range and you just use that play because for whatever they're very they're playing like, for example, let's say you could still play. Let's say like you have 8 seconds left or something, one timeout. They know that they're willing to like give up a field goal. They're playing like they're playing really strictly prevent, making sure that they're not giving up a touchdown. They have three safeties in the end zone, blah blah blah, whatever. You could audible to a run. You could audible to so you could audible to this run right here. I mean, you could check into it. But let's see here once again. You can see here we can follow our block. So, try that again. Oh, shit. Let's keep it. Let's see. Okay. Square would have been open, and he would have gotten a block right there. And maybe we get out of bounds if we had like 12 seconds left. As you can see here, you can use guys as blockers. I like. Um, you can really get big plays if you see a defense like quarters 3D prevent, especially prevent, because the guys that have free releases can become extra blockers. When you see the when you see this defender dropping this far back, you know you're going to have this open, and these guys are going to be blockers. You know. So let's say we get it to him, he gets his block, or we just outrun him, and then he maybe goes up for a block here, and depending on who this receiver is, which I have confidence with, can make one of these guys miss that would now be pursuing over here. So let's try that again. We know we're getting the same defense. Okay, so bad throw there. We want to hit it early so those guys block here, but not too early. Okay, so just a little too early.
Here we go. Here we go.
Ah, God. But you get the idea.
Hot, hot.
Oh my goodness, bro. I mean, I know I'm playing with a bad quarterback, but shit, he's 57 overall. But come on, can't even complete this. Okay. I mean, you do see there that they're willing to give that up. Let's say you have enough time. Boom, you're inside the 10. Right there in that situation, you could play for a touchdown if you have enough time. You have one look for touchdown, and you don't get it. Boom, you settle for a field goal. But what I was gonna say, let me go back to the still full house here. So we'll go back to, let's say, running back slam this time. Okay. Don't know if I have. Let's see. So we'll go random here. This is what I want to show. Right. When you get up front like this, right, it's very important to read like what blocking scheme your offensive line has or your whole team has here, because we know like, okay, out of here the inside might still get penetration because these guys are going, as you can see right there, these guys are going more outside to get blocks away from the interior, right? As you can see here, we're leaving the interior unblocked. We're going up to the second level with, double team here, but we're going to the second level. And as you can see here, I was right. It becomes unblocked, but we know that we get a good containment on the edge there that we can like at least, settle for a few yards or 3 to 5 yards. So right here, um, here would be like the same thing too. But once again, you want to play it patiently. So you can see like when you practice this enough, like, okay, who's their game wreckers, their interior D line. Is the inside shaded, outside shaded, right on there. The other guy ends up getting there. Let's see that replay there. Safety's coming down. All right, I'm going to get into that. So we get a double team there. But these guys are designed, I guess, to go to. I guess what happened was this guy had the middle linebacker, and this guy had him there. I would prefer it to be because the run is going more towards the right. Well, okay, it is going towards the left. Okay, so it's also looking at where your run is actually going because there's a lot of runs where depending on where the run is designed to go, that's where the double team will go, that's where the pullers will go, that's where the ISO, where you'll get your ISO block. But we don't want the one fullback or whatever going on. Now, safety comes down. Like, you could say we still like this, right? We obviously still like this, but what can we do out here? We know whether he comes down or not. They look like they have pass coverage out here. We could be wrong. This could be, a strong safety blitz where everybody else is blitzing as well. But we can also audible to something. We have possible free releases out here. We have vertical routes here. We got a route from Dobbs. We got stuff to beat man coverage, stuff to beat zone coverage. We have a deep post to beat cover 2 or cover 4. We have, Dobbs and Kraft to beat man coverage. Sims can beat man coverage too. And we can read this out. So you can see we can go there. I believe that was man coverage. No, wait a minute. Yeah, it was man coverage. Because we have a running back blocking, he's mirroring the running back, making it look like he's playing the middle like a robber. Or he could have been a cover one robber too, but let's see. You can see like we also could have had the corner out. We could have possibly had this post too that works out against man as well. We didn't mention. But as you can see here, depending on basically what I want to say, the front, basically the coverage, the front, all of that, right here is a perfect example of this might really hold up depending on how we block their interior D tackle. We should have this here. We should have this right there. Okay.
Ready.
You also want to account for players who are in their zone as well, because they're going to become game wreckers depending on what position they play. So we know this is a
Roll. Reload.
run to the left. Let's see what happens here. Okay. But I want to show something else too. So another thing that can happen. Okay, I'm going to do some with the defense here. I will go with, instead of actually putting a zone, a particular blitz, a blitz that we know we're going to get, and we know what coverage we're going to get as well. What the hell? Why do I keep getting messages? I'm fucking tired of it. Jesus Christ, I hate subscribing to places. You keep getting notifications. Okay, so keep the double S or whatever. And then we'll go to concept. And let's see. So we'll go with blitz, right? We'll go with, let's see, random blitz. So we don't know if it's a man blitz, a zone blitz, whatever. Right? We see this front. Let's try right here. Excellent. We have AJ Dillon because we like that power when safety comes down. So right here, let's say we know there's a blitz coming, right? The thing about full house base is you have those 3 guys behind you. Like, yeah, you're going to have just 2 wide receivers out here. You could maybe audible a wide receiver. Sub in a wide receiver at these fullback positions or whatever, but I don't think we can. But as you can see right here, let's say you're worried about a blitz coming off the left side. Here you can either audible to a play action, well, yeah, play action or a regular standard pass to a post wheel, or you can go to keeping it or go to a running back
60
slam.
Eagle, 60 Eagle.
Okay, so wait a minute. Interesting. The other good thing about this is having a run audible for the middle, left, and right, maybe like a stretch or strong power or power O. You know. So we can keep the running back slam because they might be blitzing, and when they blitz, we like how the blocking is, especially because the interior defensive tackle is not, having an advantage when inside or outside shade or technique to where he can have an advantage to get a block shed inside or outside or block shed to the area where we're running to. So I'll just keep it right now, start patiently, see what we can get. Okay, safety comes down, right? Now you could audible out of this and go to strong power. I don't have a um, stretch, but look what other things we can do here. Easy pass concept. It's audibling completely out of the set into another set. Pistol deuce, which gives us an inside cross, which has like a mesh concept here with a deep post and dagger on the play, so we know that we can attack them if they're playing deep, blitzing and playing deep, or not blitzing at all, and we can high-low these defenders. We can go to a strong power, and hopefully, we don't like that, but what else can we do? Audible to something else here. We have a double move that might work here for the tight end, and a swing pass as well. We have an upfield route at a levels out here. We have another play action that can give us, well, this is a play action here that can give us the ability to have time in the pocket and throw guys open on those rosters right there. And then we have a screen play here, post wheel shallow, PAU corner flooding, one side against a blitz is a pretty good idea, and also having that block in there and play action might help out. The screen could help out. Four verticals, another vertical route that might work, or four verticals to stretch that blitz there, right? We also have what? A stretch right here.
Cowboy 80.
As you can see here, you can see now how we didn't have blockers to the edge, and now we audible to a play that's good to maybe run away from that blitzing safety or possible blitz on the left side. And one thing I like to do is actually run to that side, but I'm not going to do that because there's extra guys possibly in that area. And it could also be like cover six or defense that could be there playing the hard flat or flat area there. So let's see what happens here. As you can see right there, we almost busted one out for a touchdown or like maybe 20 yards. Let's say, we get that block. I mean, look at everything we would have had here. So I don't call stretch plays, guys, but in the past, I would take what the defense gives me and I would check into it when I get a favorable look. Now, show the blitz, they show the look of them blitzing on the left side, and from they actually blitz from both sides. So it's a double safety blitz because what's his name? Washington is also their free safety. So Washington's their free safety. A lot of times I say this is that strong safety blitz where everybody else is blitzing too. You can see they're blitzing off the left side. But like I said, if we get this block, it is kind of hard to get this block because it's a safety coming. You know, if it's a second level defender, he's slower, we're able to probably get that block. If we still try to take this wide, you know, you could probably at this point, you could know that you could like use a stiff arm or juke at this point because everybody's just so far out of position here, being engaged with their blocks. So you can make a move here. I would say truck or stiff arm because it's much easier um, basically making somebody miss while they are being blocked. You can stiff arm because they're not able to get both their hands on you. They're not able to get probably a big hit on you. So stiff arm maybe would have worked. A juke to the right would have maybe had an animation of a broken tackle, would have slowed me down, and maybe this guy would have caught up to me, but we would have got more yards, at least 3 to 5 yards, or we just break this and it's just us and him maybe for the end zone, and then we make him miss or drop him, whatever. Right here, you can see here they're crowding the A gap or whatever. Like the run here.
Set.
Once again, this time we might be able to go to that stretch. And here we have a fake slide running back stretch. I was swinging back to his close. So we have an extra blocker here. Hopefully it holds up. Okay. We do have a slower running back, but they did end up blitzing from inside here. Now, the other thing is like, we can't see it anymore, but you did see how the front was playing pre-snap before we audibled. And when we audibled, they went back to a too high safety look. If we read the defense before we made them play back and get those safeties back, we probably would have read like, okay, all right, like middle linebackers blitzing, we're probably not going to that stretch right there. So right here, they're playing back. What do we have here? Okay, we can go to, they're playing back. Let's see. We'll work out here. Strong power is good because you can keep it outside, or it's more designed to go at like between the guard and tackle. So they're blitzing there. What we got here. You know, we're picking up a couple yards, but as you can see right there, like, you know, we keep the run to the right. Probably works.
18 Cardinal, 18 Cardinal. Ready, ready.
Getting somebody out there. Corner. Drop. You can see there we can, so double safety blitz, okay. But do we think it's man or do we think it's zone? We think it's man, so we want to go with something with crossers here. A play action maybe with crossers, or, you know, maybe the stretch could work out because the safety might have a hard time getting in on a blitz. It all depends. Because this kind of cradles you in the pocket, as you can see right here. Keeps you in the pocket. That I like that play action because you're getting the outside run action, but after that, you know, whoever comes in, you know, they have a hard time getting in because the linebackers who were biting on this, they weren't really blitzing, they were in zone, and then the guys who were blitzing, you know, it's hard to come in. Not only that, they're going to get the free safety on the left side is going to get blocked, and then the strong safety on the right has to run through his pursue angle, has to come through 3 blockers or his own players, and then he's going to have a running back there leaking out to the flat to either block him first or just quickly get out to the flats. And right there we know, okay, the running back's not getting out. We know this is going to have a hard time to get open. And at this point, we know we have this, or here, him right here. And as you can see, if he has a hard time getting out, I mean, look at this too. He bumps into that defender as well. I'm not saying that's always going to be the case, but that happens. Okay, they're playing back here. We could try a lot of different things. I like PA double in because we have routes that I really like. We have these vertical routes, a seam and a vertical route from the other tight end. Then we have a slant that's kind of, I don't know, like a delayed slant, you could call it. He doesn't really um, confirm his route. He doesn't really run a route yet. It starts out kind of like as a smoke route and then runs a slant. So depending on the coverage, if they're playing deep, that could work out. Um, you could obviously, the way I would read this is the seam and vertical route first, and then that delayed. I'm probably reading like everything, like how the defense is playing, not my route, right? Because if the whole defense is playing like a drop or match coverage and they're just failing, covering everything, like the seam, the vertical route, and so at that point I would go to square, circle, and then R1. So that's how I
Steady
would read this.
lying. Hut, hut.
That time square is open. I try to get the square, but we got hit
Okay.
on the throw. So you can see right here, I read this right. You could say, oh, cover zero, birds on the fence, obviously. So if we read that, we would have said that. Uh, didn't know what blitz it was. Didn't even know they were blitzing. But right here, uh, you can see it's a birds on the fence look. Get this block here on the edge. But there's a lot of guys, because it's play action, sometimes they'll get on, other guys will get on block here. But as you can see, what I said, like reading how the whole defense plays, and then reading the deep dagger and the delayed slant route, as you can see, the reason I say that, sure, could we still have gone to him right there? You could also say, like, we read the entire defense, right? And obviously read him too. If we read this correctly, it's that easy, that simple. We're reading the defense and not every individual route. If we're going through every individual route, like let's say we read this guy's vertical route first, and then we're reading this, and like look at what would have happened. By the time we even get to this side or read one of these routes, we would have been hit on the throw too, but we would not even have had a chance, or maybe would have ended up being been the same way. I end up reading the delayed slant first, not really knowing what the defense was playing, didn't know they were blitzing, didn't know they were man in their zone, all that. I read the delayed slant first. I would not read that first if it was man coverage because he would be covered um, all throughout his route, the beginning and all throughout, because it's not really like a sharp slant too.
Break.
I'll show that same defense with that same play again. So let's see what play was it. So this pistol. What pistol was it? Was it even pistol? Yeah, I know it was pistol. It was close. Yeah. And we'll go against whatever cover zero.
Down.
They're the same look, right?
Ready.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And sometimes you want to prioritize getting the ball out quicker. So let's say we had different routes, right? Let's say we really want that deep dagger, but we're not sure we're gonna get time, right?
Ready.
Okay, we audible to this right here.
70
Okay,
Timber
let's
Wolf.
say, like for example, right here, right? You can lose a game because you're trying to be greedy against cover zero. You know it's cover zero, but you want to be greedy here, right? Do you guys think you're gonna get like, yeah, if you're gonna go through your reads and go to Dobbs or Watson, you're not gonna get it. If you're gonna have Dobbs or Watson knowing it's cover zero, yeah, you're gonna get it. You know, if you're not sure though, you're going through your reads, and then you go to one of them. You know, you're not gonna get it. But let's just say you did not have the time for Dobbs or Watson. Going underneath can get you just as much, or you know, can at least
Ready, break.
get you at times, you know, from taking a sack.
60 by.
I mean, they're playing. You know, they got when they go
Here
cover
we go.
zero. You know, they're gonna have their safeties in man coverage. So, and their safeties
Hawk
are good
70. Hawk, go.
at covered in man. But right there, you can see like sometimes those mesh concepts, we end up getting a touchdown from a dump off pass in cover zero. So sometimes it's not always
Ready.
the best thing to be greedy and go to that only if you know like if a cover zero. But sometimes even with that, you know, um,
Ready,
sometimes they
ready.
might play pretty good. Like what happens if they're actually sticky?
Set, go.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of hard to cover that post, especially when Wiggins
Set
is,
it.
I'm sorry to say, trash. I did not know he was. I looked at his attributes. He's got like 70 man or something,
Ready.
3-step drop. Ah, man. Sometimes, I mean, that will happen too.
Let's go now.
Being too impatient right there.
Ready, ready.
Beautiful. That was beautiful right there.
Set, ready. Set it.
Damn. Way too long because I want my drop back, but it's a long drop back too.
Hot, hot.
What I say here. Well, I'm trying to throw without even looking. Trying to throw, so
Let's go. Ready.
you don't want to do that. So right here. Damn it.
Here
That
we
can
go. Here we
happen too. You're
go.
playing with a backup quarterback, trying to beat the blitz here. It's tough.
Set.
Well, you could say like, okay, we know it's cover zero. Instead of going deep, let's attack them underneath,
Hot.
like I said. I mean, look at that. I mean, what? Like, see what I'm saying?
Come on. Come on.
Like,
Set.
prioritize when you're able to go deep against a blitz. Play it safe. If you don't think you're gonna have time to go to something, don't be too greedy. It's easier said than done. I haven't really tried out this RPO wheel here. Obviously, when you have an RPO, you're pressed for time
Go.
because if you take too long throwing it, you'll get an illegal man downfield every time. So basically, Musgrave or Dobbs, depending on what your reads are. If it's Watson, it can only be Watson. If it's Musgrave and Dobbs, it can only be Musgrave and Dobbs. And then, let's see, so it says automatic handoff. So this isn't one of those plays where you can have the run pass option and also keep it as a quarterback. I don't remember the name of those plays.
Go.
Right there. We're able to get it off. Now they don't obviously
Here we
give
go.
penalties,
Set.
so we don't know if we would have had illegal man and a illegal man downfield on that play. But you can also read the coverage here.
Set, go.
Okay. But here's
Ready.
another
Set.
thing with when you're reading coverages here. You know they're blitzing, and at this point you're keying in on this defender or this defender right here. He's coming in on a blitz. He's not in position. He's pressing. Now, could he be? Could it be a? You know, if it was a cover three hard flat, this guy's the flat defender, not him. If it's cover two hard flat, this guy's the hard. This guy's the um, flat defender, hard flat defender. So you would have to go to a slant here if that was the case to that to 87. But it just happened to be, I believe, man coverage here. So you would see that I call these like sometimes freebies because we do get this pass off. Look what would have happened. They end up running into each other. The only defender that can really get there is the safety all the way down deep down the field. So it ends up working like a rub route, but it won't always be the case because it'll depend on what their coverages. Now we see a strong safety coming down. Maybe we want to keep the run inside because of how the D line looks here. But we also know it's a long developing run when it's an RPO play. Basically, the run, it's not, it's, I don't think it's even the same um, timing with the run. It might be a little more delayed when you're using RPOs.
Ready, ready.
Once again, we get that corner playing back, the other defenders out of the way. So that worked out that way too. So that would be the way you would run this play, and then let's see basically here, watching. Basically, it's
Ready,
this
ready.
this play works if you have the leverage advantage.
Hot, hot.
That done, we're done with this one.
On the double.
Yeah, so for whoever just came in the live chat, I'm showing basically how audibles can help you out in certain situations, especially like at a full house base.
Set up.
When you're reading the front, you can run or pass. You can audible to other sets, other pass plays that might be screens, good easy pass concepts, different runs, inside outside runs. Like here, running back
1918.
slam.
Ready. Got it. Ready.
Like
Panther
right here,
60.
we know we
Panther
have.
60.
I'm not sure if this is like a delay route or why his route is blue. Okay, touchdown. Uh, oh,
Let's go now.
like right here, using your audibles, reading the front, reading the coverage here. They're playing back, try to get as much information from the defense as possible. Right here, we got curl, flats. We know we can keep it. We could possibly have a leverage advantage
Go.
here, and if not, we got those curls and a delayed running back
Set. Ready.
pitch curl. Like I said, try to make your custom playbooks centered around um, good run plays and audibles, good pass audibles. Try to go through like um, see what audibles you can actually audible into. Let's say you don't want to. Let's say you're somebody who doesn't want to have one screen for every like formation, every audible like a screen pass for every formation, right? Let's say we're in pistol full house base. We don't have a screen on this play, but we know we can audible to a lot of different plays here that will give us a screen. Right here we have a PAY screen, which is a tight end screen. We also have stretches, four verticals. So there's one screen that we can get out of this, and it's this PAY
60
screen.
Eagle.
We'll
60
just run it.
Eagle.
We might not get anything. I don't think we will. It could be man coverage. It could be something that could take that
Set. Go.
away. Ooh, wow, that was close. I didn't even think it'd be that close. It's basically like a
Set.
throwaway, but that that's one thing that can suck because a crucial situation and then a half end in the game, you're trying to go to a screen. You're not really, for the most part, going to roll out to the side of the screen, so you're going to stay in the pocket. If you're making that throw, you know, um, you're inside the pocket, so I believe it would still be intentional grounding, wouldn't it?
Ready. Let's go.
Now, we saw that, right, guys? So
Cowboy
let's
80.
see
19
if
Lion.
we get a look from those safeties like that again.
Ready, ready.
Okay, no. But, got that post. Because I'm going to say,
Here we go.
if they do anything with their safeties, I want to go over the top. And they do something with their safeties. It looks like It looks like they were possibly, were they in like, let me see, were they like in a cover three hard flats or no? Come on, bro. Okay, so maybe like a cover two, what do you call it? What's that? Like a cover six invert, maybe? Cover six in. All you gotta know is like when the safeties are like helping out there, it's like an inverted play. So whenever you get one of the like, let's say you have double post, whichever safety goes out and helps out here, let's say he had a post, you know, we would have got that there.
Go. Get up.
Okay.
Ready. Hot, hot.
That time we don't use a possession catch because they were out of
Ready
position.
up. Bronco 80. Ready.
Ooh,
On the set. Hut.
making them pay with a 57 overall quarterback.
On the ready.
Who knows? Tom Brady, Madden probably had Tom Brady, um, 60 overall back. I would have to check what his overall rating was before he was a starter for the Patriots. Gonna have to do the depth chart for the Packers because they have what's I was gonna say Brandon Jacobs. That was his name. His first name Jacobs. Can't remember. What the heck is his name? I wanna get his name before Josh Jacobs before I see it. You can see here 57 overall. Now at times I might put Willis in there, because he does obviously have decent enough throwing power. Maybe I get him use him in I mean decent enough accuracy. So we'll be possibly doing a two quarterback system here with our backups. Because he can break sacks. He's got better play action here. But the under pressure is my thing. You know, you could say both are bad when it comes to throwing under pressure, but we'll be having that, and then we got to make sure Josh Jacobs isn't in the lineup here. I believe he's in there at yeah. Okay. power back too. For the most part, everything. Okay. Who was my fifth running back? Probably. Wow, that's terrible. Wait, oh no, I'm looking at throwing power. Wow. It's probably Wicks. Uh, Interesting. I don't really care. Let's see. Don't really care how they are. So Wicks is 4, Melton's 5. Okay. Do I have that? No. Okay. We keep Kenny Clark in there because I mean, he's a. I will keep certain like superstars that have a lower rating. I'm not playing with like superstar players that have like an 87 plus overall anywhere. Obviously, I keep the starting offensive line. Now, one thing you want to do with the offensive line too is you want to use the better guys at tackle because your tackles will get like will leave guys unblocked at times, depending on your formation alignment, stuff like that. If when they're using wide fronts or something, wide fronts, yeah. So another thing I like to do too, let's say I had two like really good tackle or one like elite tackle, and then I had like one elite guard. I'm putting that elite guard on the side to where the one tackle is weaker. There's a lot of teams that have like an elite left tackle and an elite left guard, but then their right guard's like trash, and then their right tackle's like, average or decent. I'm putting that elite left guard at right guard, and then I'm putting that right guard at left guard because, in my opinion, when it comes to the offensive line play, when the running or passing game, um, for the most part, guards help out. Centers and guards help out in the double teams for running the ball, and they'll also be used if you double team certain guys. Let's say you let your tackles play on an island and your one tackle's weak. Well, you're going to put that better guard in a double team to help out that tackle. So really, you know what I mean? I don't like having weaker. I don't like having like an elite guard next to an elite tackle where the other side is weaker at, you know. So a lot of teams have it that way, and I hate that. So right here, let's see how the right tackle is. So as you can see right here, you know, we have a better tackle on the right. I probably set it up this way, and then you have, you know, a lesser right guard here. Let's see. I don't know why this happens. Why did they end up pulling? He's probably a better pass blocker. That's probably why. I don't really, worry too much there. I am a little worried with centers, but for the most part, no matter who you play with, if you're playing against Chris Jones or Matabike from the Ravens, you're gonna leave him unblocked. So, you know, you gotta play patiently, running the ball inside anyway, going up against those guys. So yeah, I would have my better guard helping out my lesser tackle. Oh my God, really didn't do the Packers roster because I don't really play with them. So now, when I'm taking out an elite corner like this out, I will look to who's at safety. Some teams have pretty good depth at safety where they can allow me to put like another player at my number one corner and then put a safety number two because I do like to also have um, better tackling corners outside, and then my nickels be like good blitzers, have good tackling, hit power, good in run fits, stuff like that. So I can use certain fronts like more pass heavy defenses, but have like a big nickel or like certain nickels or dimes where I can still stop the run. Um, Eric Stokes. I like to have bigger guys at like number two. I don't fuck around with my number one guys. So let's see how their depth at safety is. How's it jumping here? How's it catching from Valentine? Oh man, okay. Nixon, no. Valentine, okay. Valentine and Valentine. Not related, obviously. That'd be crazy if they were. Okay, so okay. And then sometimes, depending on the depth too, I will have my safeties play at like number three or number four corner because I'm gonna have them. They might blitz at times. You know, like I said, having a safety there. It's also essentially like having you could have up to like four safeties probably on the field if you're putting two safeties at corners and then having two safeties behind them. Also, depending on the matchup, if I know I'm going up against Dolphins team with a lot of speed, sometimes I'll put outside corners at safety to have that speed over the top because I rather get beat. Like if I get beat and I have a fast corner, you know, that speed guy might also beat that safety that might not be as fast too. So I rather them beat my corner, like beat them badly, but then have that safety to make up, over the top. Oh, would you look at that, Nixon? The other thing too, a lot of players, there's a lot of players, not most, a lot of players will, depending on the pass concepts, they'll use levels, mesh. They're going more to their tight ends and slot receivers, so you know that you can take like one of your, outside corners out, and then you won't, get beat too much. Nixon here, like I don't really care about size if they're good, because at the end of the day, they still have to take advantage of that size, and this isn't real life. This is Madden, so they would have to throw a high pass, or it would be hard to do. Another thing I like with my secondary, see, is like, do they have a rare guy that has speed, like return ability too? So there's backups that have return ability. So when they get an interception, they can return it. So Nixon, good play recognition. I like guys with press playing number two, so I would put him there. He's better overall too. And then who was the guy I had there? Better overall guy with jumping and catching. Downtime. Okay, and then it's like at this point, like I said, if you have a decent backup safety, or like you're not going to get too many snaps with your backup safety at starter, you can put somebody like McKinney at number four. So you have him there, and then you can get away with like having a better cover guy, like basically having, like, let's say Ballantyne was shut down, like a shutdown nickel, then you would have McKinney number four, so your three, four, and five are possibly like lockdown, and they're going to pass concepts like levels, mesh, sales, you know, certain pass concepts where they're going to attack your number two, three, and four rather than your, number one guy, and then obviously you can do things to take away the number one, bracketing, coverage, doubling them. I don't really double or bracket them. I just have zones. Sometimes I'll man up. Yeah, sometimes I will bracket them. So, but I don't think they do have. I did hear of Kitten Ola. I don't even. I can't even see his name. I was thinking Oladipo or something. That's somebody else. Wait, Oladapo. Okay. Now sometimes I will put my elite corners at safety. It only depends how their overall is. Like his overall is pretty. It's not great, so I can do that if I want. And what that would help like if I face teams like I said, like the Dolphins, got teams with speed, and coverage ability here. So now that allows me to have more depth at safety and do certain things like play invert, cover two inverts, cover six inverts, those type of defenses where those safeties coming down are going to be more rangy too to cover certain pass concepts, like if they want to go to a curl flat concept or attack their attack like with corner routes. So now I can put Bulliard or whatever his what his name is. And then obviously when you do play quarters 3D, you have the ability to put a wide receiver, I believe. Or wait a minute. Or is that wait a minute. Oh yeah, that's at corner, I forgot. So you can put wide receivers at corner. Sometimes like in tournaments or meaningful games, I will put all bigger guys in quarters 3D. I really don't prioritize coverage at that point. If it's like literally Hail Mary play, end of the half, only time for one or two plays, I'll put my bigger linebackers in. I'll put my bigger corners in. I haven't put bigger wide receivers at corners in. That's very rare. I think I've ever done that. Like if you had a DK Metcalf or like back in the day, Calvin Johnson or something. And just taller guys there. Taller guys jumping. I'll put a 5'9" guy out there. He's got 97 jumping. You know, so I prioritize jumping and length in those positions. And then the half and then the game stealing, stops or whatever. Look at that. Okay, so yeah, we got that now. Kick return. We're playing with backups, so we want to maximize our return game too. I will use anybody at kick return, like any position that has the speed, change of direction, spin and juke, something, one of those. Don't really use a spin. I think a spin move slows you down in kick returns, only if, you have one guy to beat. Josh Jacobs. I will use my starting superstar players on kick return, so do that. Change direction. Some of these guys I don't understand it. They'll have a really good change of direction, spin and juke, and you use them and they're like they feel slow on kick return. Based off maybe I'll go with Reed better. Now you do know it's going to make your team slower. Your players slower. You know, if you have them playing on offense too. So whatever. Never heard of wheeling. Okay. Obviously, you want to prioritize like more fast edge guys because I'm somebody who only mostly QB contains. That's where I get my sacks from. Sometimes I won't QB contain to give myself an actual pass rush when I need it, and then I'll blitz. I will blitz. Very rarely though. Like I'm not gonna spam cover zero if my opponent can't, you know, uh, have an answer against it. I'm not just gonna stay in the cover zero like other players. Stay in certain coverages. Just be lazy. Obviously, there's sub linebackers, fast guys, guys that like sometimes I'll have like a 60 overall player at sub linebacker, but I know like I'm gonna be using him most of the time. So you're taking the awareness part out of it, awareness and play recognition out of it. But it's risky too because you're not going to remember to use that player every single play in those situations. So they happen to have good, fast sub linebackers that are also stout against the run. Some players will even use like back in the day, Tyrann Mathieu 5'9". I got picked off 6, 7 times because I tried to throw over him, thinking like this motherfucker 5'9". Come on, man, ridiculous. Amazing jump. All right, so I had McKinney 4, so probably Valentine 5, and then Nixon I believe was 2. So it was Valentine I believe who was 3. Let's see, could be wrong. Yep, I was right. Wait, oops, didn't. Wait a minute, no, I wanted McKinney, not Alexander. Valentine, McKinney, and Valentine. So BMV. That's the way I remember it. BMV. BMV. Okay. All right. Good. Got Sean Clifford, or didn't really see what his name was. Not the first time I played with a 57 overall quarterback. I played with what's his name, Badgett from the Bears.
It's one of our venues in the National Football League. We're inside Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, home of the Chiefs. The veteran Brandon McManus ready to kick this one off. And off we go here at Arrowhead. And this one is fielded in the end zone. Will not be returned. So it'll come out to the 30. They'll break the huddle. Coming up now for first
Yellow.
and 10.
Yellow. Right side.
Throwing to get things started is Mahomes. This to the right side, but it's going to wind up incomplete. DeAndre Hopkins was the intended target for that one. And it'll bring up second down.
Yellow. Right side.
Out of the gun, here's Mahomes. That's caught. It's Xavier Worthy. And they'll work this close to a first down, maybe just a tad short. Trying to avoid the early 3 and out. They face third and a yard.
Right side.
Throwing from the gun. Here's in trouble, and down he goes.
Outside of a turnover, this was probably the worst-case scenario. Immediate pressure in his face with nowhere to go with the ball downfield. Just get the ball out of your hand. Live to play another down. Instead, he retreats backwards and leads to a massive loss.
What a call on his opening drive. They're going to go for it on fourth down.
Hey, 43. Hey, Sunday, on Sunday, on Sunday, on Sunday. Right side.
They're indeed going. Oh, what a crash, and he's lost the football. And this is taken in by the defense.
Not that it's much of a consolation, but either way, Mike, that's going to result in a turnover. Going forward on fourth down, he's clearly stopped short of the sticks. In this case, might be trying to make something out of nothing there to keep that play alive. But great job here by the defense coming away with the stop. And now we'll see if the offense can come on the field to take advantage of it.
19, Tiger. Check, check. Go.
And the big back, A.J. Dillon. And this play going nowhere. He is taken down behind the line of scrimmage on their first play of the game.
Well, they try to get the run game started here early on this drive, Mike, and they're just going to have to do a better job up front. There's really nowhere for this ball carrier to go. You never want to lose yards on first down, but that's exactly the case here.
18 Cardinal, 18 Cardinal.
The man in motion is Watson.
Let go.
Throw to the right flat. It is caught. And he will get into the end zone. Christian Watson. Touchdown, Green Bay. Brandon McManus now to add the extra point. The kick is good. And the Packers will take a 7-0 lead. Both teams ready to go once more as the kick's away. They'll elect to bring it out here from the end zone. And it'll be brought down past the 25. Decent field position to start this drive. Here's first and 10.
Right. Right side.
From the shotgun, it's Mahomes. He'll drop this underneath to Pacheco.
Hey, we're good, we're good.
Just shy of the 40.
Easy. Hey, Sunday, on Sunday, on Sunday, on Sunday. Right side.
First and 10 for Mahomes. And heading on through the contact. It's incomplete. What a good job defensively to meet him just as the ball was arriving. And it'll be second down.
They nearly connected on the big play downfield, but he's not quite able to hold on to that ball through the contact. You can chalk that one up as a win defensively.
We'll try again.
Yellow.
It's second and 10.
Yellow.
They put Kelsey in motion.
Right side.
Mahomes looking to throw on second down. throw right side is intercepted. And he's going to be brought down. What a turn of events here. He has given his guys 1st and 10 in the red zone.
It's not often, Mike, that everything breaks right for this type of return off of an interception. But, boy, is it beautiful when it does. I mean, look at the defenders just flip around and become blockers, trying to spring their guy to the house. Great athleticism, some great moves on his part. I mean, he's going to have some of his offensive teammates looking over their shoulder for their position.
Dobbs open left side. They'll come up here on 2nd down and 5.
70 Lions. 70 Timberwolves. Here we go. Set. 60 Bison. 60 Bison.
Packers go ahead and use the first of their timeouts. They'll break the huddle. It's 2nd and 5.
Ready. Hawk 70. Hawk 70. Ready, ready.
Now Clifford.
Well, let's give credit here to the coverage unit, Mike. There was nowhere to go with the ball for that quarterback. He had no choice but to just tuck it down himself, and he's able only to pick up a short gain.
Now a 3rd and 2.
Ready, ready. Set go. Set.
To throw is Clifford. This one is pulled in on the feet in bounds. Yes! Tucker Kraft.
I know at that point it's man coverage and he's usering over there in that area. I know I'm going to have that open. But if it's not, I got backup plans too. That slant and delayed weird angle route.
Now I've gotten to the point where one-on-one matchups, that's advantage offense. But then even in the cases they don't create great separation, Mike, it's their size, their catch radius. It's such a friendly target for the quarterback that when things get tight in the red zone, they look to the tight end.
Defensively, I just have a lot of experience if I'm reading his personnel and the name of his formation that he has. I know what possible routes he wants, and then I'm just, in certain situations, I'm prioritizing certain zone coverages, man in certain situations, and then I'm using certain sides of the field away, taking away one or two of his reads, and then, like I said, prioritizing the blitz to also hold up in coverage with certain zones.
From the 25, they'll go to work. 1st and 10.
Line, line. 15, 15. What's that?
They'll run with the former 7th-round draft pick, Isaiah Pacheco.
Rolling,
That'll
rolling.
be good for about a half dozen. It'll set up 2nd down.
Hey, yellow, hey, go gun, go gun, go gun.
They put Kelsey
Look
in
out.
motion. This caught right side by Worthy. And
Attack,
he's
go,
set
go.
up now. Up past the 40 with
15,
that one.
15. 15.
Now Mahomes gives it to Pacheco. And he'll get back maybe to
Hey,
the
we're
line of
good, we're good, we're
scrimmage,
good.
but probably going to be a loss of a yard here.
Hey, color, color. Attack, attack. Attack, attack.
They put Kelsey
Right
in
side.
motion. Got a man. That's where she likes. And
Rolling,
he'll be
rolling.
very close to a first
15,
down. Won't
15.
quite have enough, but now a much more advantageous spot. That's a timeout for Green Bay. It'll be their 2nd. Here's third down and a few inches.
Hey, 57. Hey, ribble it. Right side.
Throwing now, Mahomes. And that is incomplete. He was trying to get it to Xavier Worthy there. And it's going to lead to fourth down.
We're starting to see a lot of this on third down, Mike, where they're going to rely on the run after catch to pick up these third down conversions. You know what that depends on? You have to actually complete the ball. And in this case, it falls incomplete, brings up fourth down.
Right side.
Mahomes to throw it on fourth down. He's going to let this one go deep. That is in. He is in. Isaiah Pacheco. Touchdown, Chiefs. Well, so often that running back is the best friend of a quarterback.
Now he's got his mic on. I don't know what he's saying because I mute everybody, but I always tell my opponents I'm not trying. I don't match up defensively 80-90% of the time. So take your time like you are.
They tend to get really stretched pretty thin. That's exactly what this offense was able to do. Get the ball to your running back, and he's able to do the rest.
This one taken at the 7. Across the 20, they'll mark him down before the 25-yard line. That's where the offense will take over. Boy, some bulk in the formation on that right side here for first and 10. Throwing is Clifford. That's to Kraft, the tight end downfield.
One seam pass, you guys know I never use seam passes.
Set to go now on first and 10.
Let's go now. Viking 18. Panther 60. Panther 60. 60 Eagle. 60 Eagle. Ready.
Clifford. That's out to the front, and it's complete. And they'll get about 4 here as he is taken down. Here's second and 6.
Ready. Cowboy 80.
If I have the time, you better not be playing me.
Throwing, Clifford. Laying up, and he made the catch. What a play. They get 20 on the connection. Good for a Green Bay first down.
And that's what you call being fearless, going over the middle. That's not everybody's cup of tea in this league, Mike.
Okay,
some
ready?
guys love to operate outside the numbers, and
Rocco,
some
lady.
guys understand their role is
Go.
in the middle of the field, and not only to make that catch, but to do it laying out.
A throw right side is intercepted. Picked off by Brian Cook.
I don't have to go there, guys. Like I said, when I read that play, if I read my coverage, I'm looking at the second level too.
Nothing the defense loves more, Greg, than the opportunity to not only stop a team, but turn them back around the other way. A touchdown on a pick 6.
Yeah, defense just
My
loves
finger
putting
literally
their
got
hands on the
stuck
ball
when I
right
made
there,
that throw.
But it is extra special when they're able to capitalize and take it all the way back for 6.
These are the ones that rip your heart out on the offensive side. Butker's extra point is good. And the Chiefs will tie things up.
Like I said, though, guys, like I haven't said one thing. I never trash talk anybody, and our opponent, there's not one opponent I ever faced that isn't disrespectful. I don't know what he said, but if they're turning on their mic to talk, you know, it's not respectful.
We'll see if they can do anything with this kickoff that is coming their way. This
don't know why that.
From the 4.
What's the whole point of that? Is that like a fake like thing? You don't actually pitch it to him? I don't get that.
This drive starts at the 21. It's first and 10.
19 Tiger, 19 Tiger. Dragon 60. 79 Bronco. Check out.
To throw, here's Clifford. A throw left side, but it's going to wind up incomplete. Luke Musgrave, the tight end, was the intended target there. And it'll be second down.
It's always a risky decision anytime a quarterback tries to force the ball, especially into those tightly contested areas. Not a lot of daylight, not a lot of room for error. In this case, it just falls simply as an incomplete. But as this game unfolds, better decisions are going to lead to better results.
Right there, I'm thinking going deep because he's even, but I do have a backup quarterback, 57 overall quarterback.
So they come to the line for first down.
Cut down these two. Cut down these two.
They put Kelsey in motion.
What's that?
First down throw, Mahomes. And he just does get that one away. He was being chased down, forced the awkward throw. Maybe he's fortunate that all it is an incompletion.
He scored 2 touchdowns on 2 plays, right, guys? 1 play each. He got lucky that I gave up that touchdown because I accidentally manned up my corner on the running back, thinking I had somebody on the receiver, thinking I had a deep third. And then defensively, he got lucky. My finger got stuck on the throw. You know when that happens.
Hero 15. What's that?
To throw is Mahomes. He'll be hit as he throws this time, and it's going to fall incomplete. He might be fortunate just to avoid.
Like I said, do not try in these games.
He decides to go with this safe throw and throws it well short of the sticks. And at
if this was a tournament game, I'd be putting quarters 3 deep. Probably just giving up a field goal. Because they do like their free releases and run after the catch.
43. 43. What's that?
Mahomes. Taking off, he'll try to get there.
That's a really good effort on third down, just trying to make something happen. He did well to get what he got, but it's not enough for a first.
On fourth down, it's Matt Ariza to punt for KC. Sure that return is not going anywhere.
Let's go. Cardinal. 18 Cardinal.
Motion is Watson.
Ready?
Clifford looking to throw.
And of course, like you see there, use a rush. I never use a rush. Don't play fag D. Don't match up 80-90% of the time. Offensively, I don't read the defense by my standards in tournaments where I'm undefeated.
All even as we begin quarter number 3. Very good kickoff.
The most you'll see me try is just reading the shell and reading the front and just picking good plays, taking my time at the play call screen.
They bring the tight end in motion. Back to throw here to begin the drive. That's caught by Dillon. And they'll bring him down, but not until he gets
Fifth
to
read
the
on the play.
38-yard line.
Usually the corner route's open and not the flat, so you know when they're cover zero. So you know they must have been using whoever was covering the running back. Ooh. I was going to that seam again. I never do. It was wide open. Especially when they know their opponents like live streaming too, they'll play even harder. Give me the time.
Back to the air again on 2nd and 10. A toss left side, caught by his running back.
You give me the time. I'm going to that wheel post.
19 yards out of this one.
That wheel or post. And then I got an angle. You don't want me playing like 99.9% of players. You don't want me playing smart. You want me not trying. You don't want me playing how I play most of my game. Most of my meaningless game.
Through the same set of eyes, it's virtually impossible to stop. Nothing open here downfield. I think it's a good job just getting to the edge, getting something positive, getting out of bounds.
57 overall quarterback. Like I said, guys, there's 5 or 7 reasons why I did this. I don't do this to troll.
It's the tight end Kraft in motion.
Better not being what I think you are.
Throwing now from the gun. He finds Jaden Reed for the grab.
Backup plays every time. I think he's in something else that's going to give me a big play. Backup plan.
Recognizing the blitz is just the first step in the process for a quarterback.
I wanted that sluggo route or whatever, but he stayed in cover zero. Not even reading defenses, guys. If I don't read the defense, I don't read cover zero. I'm not even looking at the shell, and I don't do my blocking adjustments. You know.
Rizzo now, he'll drop to throw. And he'll just get rid of this. Smart play to throw it away. And that'll set up 2nd down.
Nice example there, Mike, of a
No
quarterback.
money plays, no scheme, don't run the ball. Never scheme in 22, 23 years playing. Never put a game 22, 23 years playing online.
Back to the air once more on 2nd down.
Fourth read on the play. I'm reading the switch. I'm reading that spot.
Will score.
Not just going to that drag.
Touchdown, Green Bay. His 2nd TD
Players aren't even
this
doing that.
one gives his team the lead.
But they think that's trash talk, right, guys? They think I'm trashing them when I say, oh, players don't go through their reads. Does that mean they're trash or they suck? Is that not just a choice at that point? Does that mean they suck or they're trash? No, that's a choice for them not going through their reads. It's a choice. That's why I don't have respect for any Madden player. Go back to your Fortnite, Roblox, 2K, NBA 2K. Go back to those games. I'm always right, too. Those are the games they come from, games they play.
1st and 10.
Yellow.
They don't love the game.
Attack.
They love the video game, not the game.
Right side.
Throwing from the gun. Here's Patrick. Working the left side. Taken in by Rice.
Easy pass concepts, but he's not making the most out of them.
Nice way to start the drive here. Really good protection by the guys up front.
I can judge a player not having 4 or 5 reads. You can tell.
Balls on time. Now they're able to start this drive and get on the move the right way.
I just, like I said, guys, you see me. You're in my live stream. You see, I never even I don't.
is really
I
just been the
rarely went by formation,
inefficiency of this
or
offense
maybe
and
I did, but
primarily out of the
look at
quarterback
this.
position.
I'm
To
using
complete
only
less
the
than
first
half of your
page
pass
of coaching
attempts,
suggestions
it
they're
just
giving
makes
me.
it
You
very
can't win
hard to
games like
compete at a
that.
high level consistently in
You
the
can't win
NFL.
games
And
like that.
if they want to
I have
find
to
themselves
audible.
having
I'm
any
not
chance
matching
of
43,
up,
getting back
43,
into
right?
this
15.
game
If
and
he's
winning this
smart,
one,
he would run the
he's going
ball.
to
He
have to
would
get a
go
lot
to
better
where I'm
from
not.
Yellow,
here.
yellow,
I say try to take as much information from the defense
yellow.
as possible. You don't need to know
High
exactly
time.
what coverage they're
On
in.
second down,
If you have a good, I was gonna say what the fuck? Wow,
incomplete.
he was
Coverage
he
good
was
that
on
time,
him
but contact
like
jarring
so
the
good
players
that I couldn't
and
even see him
forcing third down.
right there. Didn't even know
Timing
what
and trust. Critical
my
elements
own
of this
play
quick
was.
passing game. If your target and the quarterback are not on the same page, it winds up being an incompletion and a wasted down.
One high,
Yellow.
audible to a nice easy pass concept, the play action, maybe an outside run, inside run. You got a lot of tools. Use them.
15.
Let's go 3-by-1 here.
On third down, they go with Pacheco. This will not do the
I
trick.
mean, come
They
on.
stop him behind
Yeah,
the
he maybe
line.
would have gotten into
Fourth
like a third
down
and
coming
6,
up.
maybe, if
The
it was
speed
open.
and the get off by the big interior
I mean, a fourth
defensive
and 6,
tackle, Mike. I mean, he got through there
gun
so
empty.
fast, he almost took the handoff himself.
You don't want to blitz when they're going empty or like chips. You want to put something out there
The Packers go ahead and use the first of
that
their
is going to be
timeouts.
good at plastering routes.
The punter remains on the sideline. They're going to line up and go for it on fourth down.
Doing something I never do, back out. My opponents will back out, press constantly, disguise constantly, move their front constantly.
They're indeed going, and it's Mahomes.
I mean, wait, see?
Intercepted.
I mean, nobody's open.
Picked off by the safeties
When you're in
on the
favorable
carry.
positions on offense or defense, you have the numbers advantage. It's a fourth and long play. You have the numbers advantage. I mean, because you have the numbers advantage, you're going to be able to cover more stuff. They're not going to run it. I use her to D tackle just in case they want to use like open routes underneath or a screen, possible like middle screen or one of those plays where they have a block and release route, to the running back. I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday. I saw that shit 20 years ago. And I know you get the deep middle covered, you get the corners covered, the flats covered. You could basically play a little free with your user, play a little more free with your user, and just read stuff that's coming out quick. You can read stuff that's coming out quick. Like, I don't, in that situation, obviously, maybe you could give up seams or quick hitting routes, get yards after the catch. But in the perfect world, I'm not trying to give up free releases, meaning I don't want to play back too much in man or zone. I don't want to give up freebies, I call them. Like, they'll use certain formations. I do it too, like bunch bursts to get those sideline throws wide open or something open for a touchdown. You know what I mean? So, I'm satisfied with that. I tried a little bit on offense, tried a little bit on defense, played, he got lucky with both touchdowns. He got, I got stuck. I got my finger stuck on the throw, you know, uh, on my pick. Was ending the half anyway, I believe. And then, what was the other thing? Yeah, I thought I had I thought I had somebody playing the outside. I thought I had somebody playing like the deep third. I had a deep third. You know, he went, I believe, to his running back on. I believe it was probably like a mesh spot with the running back on the wheel. Not sure what play he had. Didn't even read it. And I manned up the corner who was in the deep third or whatever, and I thought like I accidentally did that, thinking I had some other coverage there deep or whatever, you know. So there you guys have it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming on the live stream. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. God bless.